Peace. How you doing? Welcome to Mr. G's Hard Truth Show. And today I have a special guest. If you don't mind sharing your name and tell us a little bit about yourself, brother.
Peace, everyone. My name is John Grady. I'm from Long Island, Hempstead, Long Island, and I'm in recovery. Um, thank God for recovery.
Okay. Now I want to explore. You're saying you're in recovery, so that means that's the solution to a problem. So do you mind taking us down, the path that led you on to recovery?
A lot of bumps and bruises along the way. Actually, things that got to a point where I was miserable. I was miserable with myself. I was miserable with my living situation. You know, um, Work wasn't there. Taking care of myself wasn't there, and I was on a methadone program that wasn't being successful to me because of what I was doing. Not adhering to the rules, always being dirty, and finally, I surrendered. My my counselor at the time said she was waiting for me to surrender, and she connected me with Sukasa.
Okay, so let's travel a little beforehand because we know, like when we talking about addiction and recovery, usually they start earlier on in life. Can you say, is it safe to say that a lifestyle led you there? Because I'm pretty sure people
Absolutely.
just go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
No, you go ahead, go ahead.
It,
But
it's all good. Go
absolutely,
ahead.
it's a lifestyle. I'm 58 and I've been doing this since I was probably like, I remember as early as 11, 12, starting with
Mm,
marijuana, starting with alcohol, but more than that, allowing people that were much older than me um to make decisions in my life that wasn't good decisions. It led me to a path of prisons, um numerous hospital stays, being shot in the head twice. So,
oh
and
wow.
all that in one shooting. So, you know, um, God is good. That's all I can say.
Yes.
And it got me fast forward all of that. Because a lot happens in between 13 years old to 58. But when I look back, it was a life of like a hamster in a wheel. Just running, doing the same thing over and over, waking up the next day expecting today is going to be better than yesterday. Well,
So
my
let me ask you,
experience,
John.
it
Uh,
doesn't happen.
I have a question. So before it got bad, did it appear to be good? Was there a point in time where the lifestyle and the usage had an appeal to you? Because usually people continue doing something because of an appeal.
Yes, it appealed to me, but when I look back on hindsight, because it appealed to me, didn't necessarily make it good. When you don't understand what you're doing and what you're locked into, if your first results is, let's say, good, or a little bit of pleasure, it for a while it gave me a outlet. Oh, things are not like I want it to be. School is tough. I'm not fitting in with the crowd. Easiest way to fit in when I was going to school is do what everybody else is doing. But
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily make it good. You know, I remember my mother saying I can't stay here anymore at 14.
Mm,
So, what do I do then?
Yeah.
But because that happens, it doesn't change what the addiction had already done to me. I was locked in a cycle that I didn't understand. So,
Yes.
it just caused me a lot of years of misery and pain, suffering, and everything that goes along with that. Homelessness, losing jobs. I had good jobs at as early as 16, 17. I had a great job, but
Mm.
because I was locked in this cycle, I did things that caused me to lose it. Not only lose the job, I was locked up because of it.
Oh wow.
Because I embezzled money from a company. At 16, 17, I was what they call at the time, uh, I was a, they called it key punch, but I was, uh, I was making the checks for a major corporation that it was a supermarket.
Yeah.
So, you know, I figured I make their checks, I make my checks. But, you know, um, when you do things like that, it catches up with you. And it caught up to me real fast. When I look back at it, it was real fast. And, I can remember the boss saying, listen, we won't press charges, just admit to it. I wouldn't. Why would
Mm.
I admit to that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, don't admit. You're going out of here in handcuffs, and that's what happened.
So that was your first arrest, correct?
No, it wasn't my first arrest, but it was a big wake up.
Okay.
My
Okay.
first arrest was probably like at 14. I remember being outside selling marijuana at the time. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I have a problem with what's going on now with society and marijuana.
Okay.
But that's a whole different story. That's just how I view things. I don't
Yes.
necessarily think it's solving it. If anything, it's causing more problems.
Okay. Well, share
Everyone,
something about it. Share something about. We want to
yeah,
hear your
everyone looks at
ideas.
it.
These are
Everyone
your
looks at it
truths.
like I looked at it growing up. Oh, it's just weed. But you know what? We're dealing with a much bigger monster than just marijuana. What they're putting in marijuana, what people can't afford. Average person can't afford to go to a dispensary and pay the prices or get the legal papers that say you have some medical problems to get this marijuana. So what do? They buy illegal marijuana. They buy illegal products that's being sold in illegal stores. And with that, like we could be here all day talking about what comes along with that. I'm sure
Yeah.
people see the news of what goes on around these stores. A lot of um, a lot of criminal activities, whether it's shootings, stabbings, robbery, and then the product that they're selling is not, you know, it's not good for people. I work in the shelter system now. I'm what they call a peer specialist, and
Okay.
I deal with guys that, you know, um, it appears that they're smoking weed, but we have this other monster called K2. I
Hmm.
actually don't even know what it's made out of, but I know it's a direct cause of why we have a lot of the mental things we have in and out these shelters. Why people can't move forward. Shelters aren't there for you to live there forever. It should be a stepping stone to you getting permanent housing. But how are you going to get permanent housing if, you know, your mind isn't right? No one wants to rent um, a resident to a person that's always intoxicated, causing problems. No one wants anyone to fall down the stairs and sue them, something like that. And then where I go, here comes my disease. So, you can't put a band-aid on this. And this is just my belief. You have to start from the root. And the root problem is me. Me and the way I think. I don't no longer think of myself as the problem.